from the platform for posting so many beautiful black children. She would post it, but then eventually our page continued to go viral, and so she would post our videos a lot, and so she would always reach out to me to ask for permission to post the kids' videos, but she couldn't reach me because our DMs were always flooded. And so I sent her my cell phone number, and I said, if you ever need to reach me, just send me a text. And so when she needed to reach me about a video for the kids, she would send me a text. And I also followed her main page. And one day I saw a post where she just seemed sad. Usually she would post videos about the babies. That particular day, she seemed very sad. So I reached out to her because I had her number to see what was wrong. And I found out that she was in the middle of a crazy situation. And even though I don't speak to her anymore, I'm not going to put out there what that crazy situation was, because that's wrong. I still believe in honoring. But she was going through a crazy situation. And I'm a psychologist, many of you know. And so I wanted to help. And so I reached out to just be a friend in the moment and say, hey, I'm here for you. Let's talk. What can I do? How can I help? And that was it. So that is the basis of any friendships is concerned. And so moving forward to August, when this accident first happened, I had two friends, two of my very personal close friends. They reached out to us immediately and they said, can we start a GoFundMe for you? And I'm in the hospital worrying about Judah. So I said, no, we don't need a GoFundMe. Because in my mind, we're not going to be in the hospital long. God is going to do this. God is going to heal him. We have insurance. We don't need GoFundMe, but thank you. And so they left it alone. They said, okay, well, if you ever want us to start one, we'll start one. I said, okay. And then the very next day, I woke up and there was a GoFundMe that was already started for us. And it said Frobabies supports Jackson family values. And there was already $3,500 or so that was collected. And I saw Kanika had posted the story and created the GoFundMe. And before I could reach out to her, she called me. She called me crying. And she said, you know, Verlonda, Teddy, don't do that. Hi, I'm sorry, hang on. Teddy, leave the dog alone. Leave the dog alone. Teddy. Teddy. Sorry. No, it's okay. I'm sorry. Teddy, stop. Hang on. Teddy's trying to chase another dog. I'm going to put him in the house. Come here. Where was I? Okay. She called me crying because she had my number. And she called me crying and she said, Verlonda, I am so sorry that this happened. And I believe she was sincere. I didn't think otherwise. She said, Verlonda, I am so sorry this happened. She said, I want to help you. So you and your family and your platform, you have been a blessing to us for years, just with your wisdom, with your parenting skills. Like, let me help. I have a platform. I want to help you. People will give to you. You're going to need money. She said, you may not need it now. She said, but I am an autism teacher. I've been a teacher for the last 17 years. So I deal with special needs children. You're going to need money. She said, I see your house, your 3-bedroom townhome. You're going to need a bigger space. You're going to need help. People will help you. Let me do it. And so I was grateful. Because it's something that I never would have done myself. I'm in the thick of the worst experience of my life. Money is the last thing on my mind. And so she wanted to help in that way. And I said, sure, go ahead. And I left it alone and I didn't think anything of it. I let her continue with the GoFundMe. And then about 3 days later, my husband checked the GoFundMe and it was up to $100,000. And I paused for a minute and I said, wow. And I looked at everyone's donations, and you guys were putting comments next to your donations, and you were giving, $20, $5, $50, $1,000, and just next to it, it was just saying, God bless you. I'm praying for you. I'm here with you. I'm thinking about you. I hope all goes well. And that meant, I just thought that was so beautiful in our greatest time of need, not knowing what we needed, just the whole world just opened up for us and said, we want to help. And I thought that was absolutely beautiful. And so a couple days later, it grew again, and it was at 130,000, 140,000. And I said, oh my God. And so I told my husband, I said, before we take any of this money and spend it, I said, we should take 10% of this and we should pay it forward and give it back to other families in need. I know that we were hurting and that we were in need, but we kept in mind that we were still in a pandemic and people didn't have jobs. Refrigerators were empty. There were also other families who had children that drowned, or families that experienced tragedies. And the kind of help that you guys were providing for us, that's not normal. And so people didn't have, somebody's baby get hit by a car. They don't have a GoFundMe where people donate hundreds of thousands of dollars in a matter of 5-6 days. But we did. God blessed us. And so I told my husband, I said, we need to take 10% of this money and we need to pay it forward and give it to others. And he said, okay. And one of the people who I wanted to bless, because I looked at Kanika and I saw her hustle. And I mean, she was on IG hustling. She was hustling on her page. She had everything in her stories. She was sharing. She was giving y'all updates. She was hustling. And she so conveniently a conversation let me know that she didn't have very much money and that she was sleeping on a mattress and that she didn't make any money from Frobabies. And so I told my husband, I said, we should give her something, a piece of that little 10%, and I wasn't going to tell her. I was just going to thinking 15%. Somebody said the live stopped. Is it back on? Is it still frozen? Can you guys hear? It's freezing. Okay, I'm going to hop off and I'm going to sit. You guys can see me now? It's on. I'm on, I'm live, I'm in Technicolor. It's not frozen. It's good. No, we are back live. Okay. What was the last thing y'all heard? Okay. Okay. So she called me up and in mid-conversation, she just let me know, it stopped at she conveniently. Okay. So she conveniently let me know that she didn't make much money from Frobabies and she was sleeping on a mattress, and I felt for her. And so I told my husband, I said, we should take some of that little 10% that we were going to give to others, and we should give her something just to say, God bless you. I don't know her true situation, but we should just be a blessing. And I wasn't going to tell her. I was going to, put something in the card and just say, God bless you. Thank you so much. And before I could do that, she called me up the very next day, and as we were in the middle of a conversation, she just threw in there. So I was thinking 15%. And it caught me by surprise. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, yeah, I've been doing all of this promoting throughout the week, and I haven't been promoting Frobabies things. So, 15% would help me make the money back that I missed from doing Frobabies. And it caught me by complete surprise. And I just said, okay. Okay. I was uncomfortable, but I'm like, okay, 15%. And I left it alone. I went home and I told my husband, I said, well, Kanika asked for 15%. And my husband said, what? She asking for stuff? And I said, well, yeah, she asked. That's what she wanted. And my husband was very upset about it. But I said, listen, I don't want to argue. I don't want to go back and forth. It's a blessing that she did this for us, because I would have never did it myself. So she wants 15%. Let's just give her 15% and just leave it alone. I don't want any problems. I don't want to deal with any problems. And he said, whatever. He wasn't feeling it, but he said, whatever. So I said, okay to the 15%. And then a couple days later, Gofundme, it grew to over $200,000. And she called me again. And in mid-conversation, in mid-cry, and feeling for us, she let us know. She was like, I don't know if 15% is too much or if 15% is not enough. And that got me. I was very vulnerable the first time, but the second time it caught me. And I said, okay, all right. And I said, okay, 15% is not enough. I'm like, do you want 20%? And she's like, yeah, 20% would be great. And I'm like, okay. It's still, remember, she is saying these things in the moment of like conversation. And so I'm catching on to it, but I'm trying to keep the conversation going so that it doesn't start anything. So I said, okay, we'll talk about it. And I went home and told my husband, and I can't repeat all of the things that my husband said because it wouldn't be appropriate, but he was irate. And he said, you know what, this girl, she's not helping us. And I don't think that her heart was ever in this. I think that she saw a story and she used it to her advantage. And all of this hustling that she's doing, I don't think it was from the bottom of her heart. I think it was the more money she can get, the more money she can make us, the more money she can hustle from y'all, the more of a percentage she can take for herself. And so this is what my husband said. I'm still thinking like, no, maybe she is, because I felt like she was sincere from the beginning. And I said, maybe no. Maybe she was honest from the beginning, but then when she seen how the GoFundMe grew, then maybe she got greedy. I don't know. But nonetheless, my husband was angry and he's like, I don't want to give her anything. And so I said, well, how are we going to get out of this? Because now we're in the middle of it. This girl did something without our permission, but then we let her know that it was okay to do. How are we going to get out of this? So my husband said, well, I'm going to call GoFundMe and let them know we need to shut it down. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't care how many people are donating and how many people will continue to donate. We don't need money if it has to come through that kind of platform. I don't want it. And so I went back to Kanika and I tried to talk to her. And I said, I know, we came up with this 20% thing. I know you asked for 15% and it came to 20%. I said, but I went home and I talked to my husband and we don't think that that's the right thing to do. I said, people are donating to our family. They are donating to Judah. And we have no idea what he's going to need. I know we need a space. That's the one thing I did know. I knew that we needed a bigger space. We were renting. I knew that we needed to buy a home. And I knew that we needed to make whatever his recovery is going to look like, we needed to be able to accommodate that. So that's the one thing I knew that we did need. As far as his medical needs, I had no idea. This is the first time my children have been healthy. I've never had to deal with any of this before, but in case I need something, the money is there. And I said, so I would prefer to just put this money in a savings account and use it for Judah and for our family. I said, I can give you something. I said, but I don't want to do 20%. And she looked me dead in my eyes, and she said, well, she looked me dead in my eyes via FaceTime, because we're FaceTiming at this point, and she said, I want the 20% that we discussed. Just like that. Just how I looked at y'all and said it, just like that. And I knew right there when I saw her eyes, I'm like, okay, sister girl is a narcissist and she's crazy. It's time to shut this down. And so I told her okay, because I wasn't going to argue. I was going to do everything that I could to get away. And the next day I reached out to her and I said, listen, well, before I reached out to her, she actually went live that same night. And she's on Instagram talking to y'all, and she just pushing money, and donate. And at this point, I can see right through her, and she's crying, and I'm just shaking my head, and I'm like, she taking advantage of these people. Yes, you guys wanted to give, but she's not hustling for us. She hustling for herself. And I felt uncomfortable, and I'm like, And so the next day I reached out to her and I said, can you please just shut this down? I said, I want people to start focusing on just praying. We have money. What we have, we will keep. What we don't have, we won't have. And she said, well, no, you don't want to shut it down now because this person is going to give later. And I just reached out to this person and, you know, they going to give and they going to do this. And, you know, you got to get it while it's hot. You know, this is a story. But people really don't care. They are in it because of their emotions, but you got to get it while it's hot, because after a week or so, nobody's going to care anymore, and they're going to go right back. They're going to go back to another story. And that caught me. That was very heartbreaking. And she wasn't saying it to attack me. She was just speaking in general. But that broke my heart because it was in reference to my baby and saying that, you know, we need to get all the money that we can, because at the end of the day, people really aren't going to care. After a week or so, it's going to go on to the next story. But anyway, I said, you know, it doesn't matter. I said, I don't want any more money. I don't want anything else from anybody. I just want you to shut it down, and I will update from here on out. I don't need you to do anything else. Just shut it down. And so she shut it down. Just letting us know, don't forget about my money. And then she changed it after a while. And she said, well, you don't need to give me 20%, because she heard my husband going off. And I don't know if she got scared, but she changed her amount from 20% to just pray about it. And you give me what you feel like I deserve. And so I just said, okay, whatever. And she gave us her bank information. My husband called Gofundme, even though she shut down the Gofundme from her side. My husband called Gofundme and had it disabled so that she didn't have access to it at all. And he went so far as to switch bank accounts, because, you know, anybody who can do something like this, it's like, well, what else can you do? Can you hack into our accounts? Can you? And so he switched accounts. He shut down everything. And if you guys remember, I got on social media and I let everybody know. I said, we're going to shut this down. I said, we don't need any more money. I just want you guys to pray. And I'm sure you guys could kind of read between the lines and you guys figured out, you know, something happened. But I wasn't about to post all of this in the middle of what we were going through. So I said, we don't need any more money. Thank you for everything you've given us. Just pray for us. And over the next week or so, people still kept saying, okay, we're praying, but we still want to help. We still want to give. There's nowhere for us to give. And so my husband said, let's just start a GoFundMe on our own. Don't set it to a certain amount. Just put it there so that if people still want to give, they have a place to do it. So I created a GoFundMe in my name for us. And I went through all of the nasty comments about people telling me that I wasn't grateful for what Frobabies did, and now I'm big, and you know, all the and I ate it up. I ignored it, because at the end of the day, the truth will always outlive a lie. And I was concerned about my kid. So I just left it alone. I created the GoFundMe, and that's for a while. I thought about Kanika because she kept calling me. She called me for days trying to say she wanted to check on me, but no, she was calling to check on her money. And so I finally got enough. You started this GoFundMe to try to make a profit. I want to believe that you started this out of the kindness of your heart. I said, but from our conversations over the last week or so, I feel like you did this to make a profit. And you told us that you wanted us to pray about what we should give you, and I prayed about it. And I don't think you should get anything more than a thank you, because if you truly did this out of the kindness of your heart, then a thank you is all you should want. And she texted me back, and she said, okay, that's fine. I wish you well. And that was it. Never said anything else to her. I was very angry. I unfollowed her on social media. I was very angry that somebody would take advantage of my son and just our family situation. And so I decided to do a little bit of research after that, because she's had several GoFundMes on her platform, and some of them I donated to personally, and I'm sure some of you have. I'm not going to say which GoFundMes they are, so I'm not about to put people's personal information out there. But there was one GoFundMe in particular that she had posted that broke my heart so bad. And I gave and gave and gave until I could give anymore, because I felt so bad for those people. And I still follow those people because I check up on them from time to time to see how they're doing and to see if everything is okay. And so my husband reached out to those people and said, hey, our name is so-and-so and so. I know Frobabies started a GoFundMe for you guys some years ago. And she started one for us. And we just wanted to know, did she ever charge you a percentage? Did she ever try to take something from you for what they did? And that person reached back out and told my husband, yes, she did. She asked me for 15%. And I gave it to her because I thought she was kind, and she's popular. And I knew that I could never have raised this kind of money if it wasn't for her. So I didn't mind sharing. And then I went to a couple more people, and I found out the same thing, 15%. And so Sister Girl is hustling off of she's hustling off of people's pain. And I'm not going to say that she is a bad person. I'm going to say that that's how she makes her money. And if that's how you make your money, that's fine. I'm just glad that or my husband, because she almost got me, because I was about to give it to her. And I'm so glad that my husband stood his ground and that she ran into the wrong family. Because that's wrong. I will also say that I'm a researcher. I told y'all before that I was a psychologist. I'm fresh out of dissertation. And so the one thing I have a habit of doing in the research world is I don't say anything that I cannot prove. In the world of research, we don't care what you think. We don't care about your side of the story or your thoughts we want to know what you can prove. The truth ain't the truth unless you can prove it. And so I will say that the day I was asked for 15% was the day I started recording phone calls. I started recording FaceTime conversations. And so everything that I am saying to you is all on video, is all on recorded audio that I have from FaceTime. All of these people whose GoFundMes that she created, and she asked them for 15%. I have snapshots of all of those messages. I would never put that kind of stuff out here because we're not going to go that far. But truth is truth. And it is, that's a shame. And I hope that it stops here. I hope that she hit the right family, and I hope that it stops here and that she's not able to do anything like that to anybody else, not profiting off of people's pain. That's foul. It's foul and it hurts. If you want to do something out of the kindness of your heart, do something out of the kindness of your heart. Don't try to hustle people and don't try to rob people. It's wrong. It's wrong. And I don't care how vulnerable I am. I had to realize that it didn't matter how vulnerable I was. I still had to watch my back, because not everybody who is for you is truly for you. So that is that side of the story. And then right after that, we met a pastor in Texas who just, secretary of the church reached out to me from the Facebook page and said, hey, our pastor has been trying to get in touch with you. His name is Dr. Rick Cosby or something like that. And he raised $10,000 for you, and we've been trying to get it to you, and gave me his phone number. And so I called him. I said, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I said, if you want, you can just post it to our GoFundMe. We have CASHAPP. We have Zelle. And he didn't want to do any of that. He said, no, I'm going to send it through the mail. And so after dealing with what I dealt through with Frobabies, I was already guarded. And so once he said send it through the mail, I'm like, you going to send a $10,000 check through the mail? And so he said, yeah, I'm going to send it through the mail. Never did send it through the mail. Never did. 3 weeks went by. We never received anything. So we reached back out to him and let him know, hey, we didn't get anything. And he said, oh, it came back to me. I wrote the wrong address. I sent it again. Another month went by, nothing. And so we went and looked up his name and saw that he had been arrested for check fraud. And he had actually gotten thrown out of a church for trying to dip into the church's finances. And I said, here we go again. Here we go again. This stuff is so hurtful. I can't tell y'all the amount of anger I felt that people just kept using my baby's story because it went viral and because the rest of the world knew about it. Like, people are just trying to profit off of this. It's so evil. It's so evil. And Frobabies was one thing, but she didn't get anything out of it. We were able to take control of everything. But now here's this man that robbed his entire church of people who you don't know if they gave their last. You don't know what they gave, but they gave because they wanted to help. And he kept everything for himself. And after dealing with Frobabies, I didn't have the bandwidth or the space to deal with him, and so I just let it go, and I hope that God would deal with it. And I felt bad. I felt bad because I'm like, these people are giving, and they will never know that this man did wrong unless I open up my mouth and say something, and I'm not going to say anything. And so I felt bad. But I just let it go. I tried to ignore it, and I went back to my baby, because in the middle of this, I'm still struggling with my baby. I'm still struggling with my kids and trying to come to this reality that this is my reality. So I left it alone, and I just hoped that it would work itself out. And then the nail hit the coffin. I feel like God knows how to really press buttons until he pressed the right button, because the nail hit the coffin the other day when somebody reached out to us and they said, hi, Miss Jackson. I just sent you some money via Cash App. And she said, I don't have much. I lost my job recently, and I'm struggling, but I want it to be a blessing to your family. And I don't want to send it through GoFundMe because I know GoFundMe takes a percentage. And so I just sent some money to your Cash App. And she said, can you let me know that you have it? And I said, okay. And so I went to Cash App, and I asked her for a name, and I didn't see her name up there. And so I went back to her and I said, well, I don't have it yet. I said, but sometimes it takes a while to come through. So just, I'm sure it'll come through. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your thoughts. And then after a while, she reached back out to me and she said, did you get it yet? And I went and looked again, and I said, no, I don't have anything. And she said, well, did I send it to the right account? And she took a snapshot of our Cash App, and she said, is this you? And she sent it to me. And just out of glance, looking at the picture, I said, yeah, this is me. And then I paused. I looked at the name under it, the cash tag. And the cash tag was only half of my name. And I looked, and my heart went into a vice grip. I said, no, that is not me. And I went and scrolled through Cash App and saw 3 different fake accounts with my name on it and my picture. And I don't know how many times people were trying to send us money and started typing in my cash tag, and those names popped up first, and those people got money. And I got so angry. I said, I'm so sick of people trying to take advantage. That is evil. That is foul. How do you even have the heart to do something like that? And so finally I said, you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's time for me to open up my mouth. It's time for me to say something. And so that's what I did. So I guess the moral of this live is just be careful. You know, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for your help. You guys have been so good to us with your prayers. Know that you are not obligated. I don't care what Frobabies told you. I don't care. Know that you are not obligated to give us anything. The GoFundMe is there. We have needs. God will always provide. You are not obligated to give anything. You give because you want to give. You give because you have it. You don't have to give us your last. You don't have to do that. If you want to give, our GoFundMe is up there. In my bio. If you don't see it in my bio, it is not mine. My Cash App is in my bio. It is my full name spelled out. If it's not my full name, it ain't me. So just be careful. Be careful. Is it back yet? It's paused. And now it's better. I am not going to save this live. I don't want to deal with this after today. I spoke my piece and I said what I needed to say, and I've been holding them. Hi, Belief. Do you guys see Belief on here? Belief in fatherhood. I love him so much. Him and his family. I love them so much. Do you guys follow that beautiful black family? I'm back now, okay. Okay. So yes, I am not going to save this live. I wanted to speak my piece. I've been holding this in for months. It would have come out eventually. But it needed to come out now. And so it's out. I'm not going to save it. I want to get back to my baby, and get back to the praying, get back to, just want to get back to my reality. Judah is sleeping. Judah's sleeping right now. Tariq and Ava are fine. They're all split about, and I miss my babies so much. I miss my husband. I miss my babies. Ava is in Virginia with Tariq's aunt. She's been there for a couple of months, and little Tariq is at home with dad in Pennsylvania, and I'm here in New Orleans. I miss my children very much. I miss my family. Half the time being down here, I don't even feel like a mom anymore. You know, my life has just been uprooted, and every day I'm praying for strength. I'm praying for some sense of normalcy, and I know God will work it out. I did want to say thank you all for the home that you have blessed us with. We're supposed to close on the 26th of this month, and I didn't tell you guys where it was. We are relocating to Georgia. So we just purchased a home in Georgia, and because of all of your giving, you guys have been so good to us, and you gave us so much. We were able to not just buy a home, but we were able to have it built from the ground up, and we were able to make accommodations for Judah. We were able, I appreciate you guys so much, so much, so much. So thank you. And it is my hope and it is my prayer that when all of this is over, we can nestle into a new life in a new state. We're from Pennsylvania. If many of you don't know, that's where we're from. So we're getting to relocate to Georgia and to start fresh. I hope and pray that Judah can enjoy the space that God has given us. There's plenty of space for the children to run around, plenty of backyard. Kids have their own rooms, and I just pray that my baby is able to enjoy it. I pray that he's able to walk around that house someday. I pray that he's able to run in the yard and to chase the dog. That's my prayer. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I didn't come on here to cry. I came on here to speak truth, and now I'm up here crying like a fool. So I'm gonna get off, and I'm gonna go handle my baby and handle my business. I love you guys so much. Thank you all for your prayers. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.